broadcast live.
I'd be out here, you know, with the Maftown Heights, behind the scenes, behind the minds of Maftown Heights. You know, I'm obviously the face, the face and the mind, depending on where you're standing at the event when you're backstage. You know, this is the face. That's literally the red face, like on some. Just don't waste my fucking time. What? You know what I mean? That's the face of that backstage. And Khuli is literally the face of, I'm just here to do my shit, done, you know what I mean? Yo, you guys have grown this thing like humongously, and I just want to firstly start, like, where did this thing start? How did it start? You know, how did you guys come together and go, yo, let's do this? And what was each person bringing to the table?
Yeah, well, 2010. I felt that there was like a bit of a disconnect in the Motswako clan, and also inspired by some party I went to, some West African party in Moloko, and I saw these guys having such a jolly time in Joburg, and I'm like, all of us are here, we could do the same thing. Jabba's here, Dukes is here, Mulimi, everybody, but we're not connecting. Spoke to Refiloe about it, like, it would be great to, you know, create this like Motswako sort of republic party, you know? We bounced some ideas, and I think, was it Mahlati who came up with the Maftown Heights name?
Yeah. Actually, that's the name we were going to call it, Motswako Republic.
Yeah,
and we were
yeah.
like, no, man, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Or just Motswako Explosion. I can't remember. Just
Motswako Republic was actually a movement that was an event. Yeah, Tumelo, Mashokwe. And
Mashokwe, yeah.
So we wanted to take the same idea, but this time bridge the gap between Mafikeng, Joburg, and, you know, other artists from other provinces, create more synergies and collaborations. Because at the time I was the only guy doing joints with AKA, and I wanted to see more of that, you know. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I mean, to add to that, I mean, the whole point around the bridging of the gaps is people need to remember the name Motswako means mixture. Yeah. You know? So fundamentally, I think it was being true.
I never knew that in any case.
Are you serious here?
I mean, Motswako doesn't have a dictionary.
So rude.
So we were trying to be true to that, you know, and to that point, you know, you were there. Big ups. This is before we could talk about send us invoices. You were there on the first one, I remember.
Yeah.
You brought Questa out. I remember Questa was a young cat. He was a young cat under you at that point in time, and I remember like seeing him. I think it was at the DJ's Move Farewell, where homie was busting, just like you guys had him just doing those one-liners. You know, I remember like the punchlines and kill the beat, and he'd just be killing, and the crowd was going berserk. Brought you through with Questa, I remember that year. And it was just really about, you know, we knew that we had this thing that we needed to do where we wanted to preserve loudly and proudly what is something very deeply personal to us, insofar as that Motswako, for all intent and purposes, is very much a South African iteration of hip hop. You know, insofar as that it was something that is spoken in vernac. You know, at the time that we were bringing it up, we knew that there had been some degree of momentum that had been built, courtesy of people like Jabba, big up to Dukes. I think Dukes had just recently gone gold on an album specifically around then. And we knew that we wanted to grow this thing and we wanted to preserve it, and not only just preserve it, but to grow it, you know. So then all of this kind of, to Khuli's point, Khuli started messing with collaborations outside of the movement, which then became, I think, something that really started to give people who wouldn't otherwise give Tswana rap a chance, started paying attention, and we knew that we needed to build on that momentum. So that's why we thought, okay, let's put this thing that builds the bridge. Over and above that, like Khuli's talking about, you know, there's this disconnect that's happening at the time, and we just wanted to have this movement which would bring together the Motswako family once a year, and to grow that family and grow bridges and bring a broader hip-hop family together at least once a year. And that's what we did. And if you can remember, one of the things that's always been dope about Maftown Heights are those backstage kind of fellowships where you see cats that haven't caught up with each other in a while, who are then vibing together. And then all of a sudden, joints that they've done or joints they're thinking about doing, they're now jumping onto each other's sets. Songs that they're not even involved in. I remember, I think it was 2012, Khuli Chana, where Reason was on stage, so was on stage. Everybody all now creating a whole new, different version of a track And it was just on the spur of the moment because we were able to bring all of these people together. Yeah.
So I mean, it's almost like, and this is the power, I guess, of culture. Like, it's like you guys saw the success of the music, and you've created what is a property now.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, the property is almost like is going to live and can live beyond any artist. You know what I mean? And 7 years later, or if my math is right,
8. This is the 8th one.
8 years later, you take it back to Mafikeng, right?
Yeah.
Is there a sentimental reason why it's going back home this year?
Yeah, sentimental. The timing is impeccable, and we felt that the partnership with Mahikeng was perfect, and also I wasn't ready for that hate mail. I didn't want any of it. Every year I deal with it, and I don't think people understand just how much of a logistical nightmare it was for us. We wanted to take it to Mahikeng, but I guess now is the right time. And what I'm mostly excited about is the new Motswako cast, the next movement, the new Kids on the Block segment this year.
So you're saying hate mail coming from?
No, hate mail coming from fans, because
in Mafikeng.
Oh jeez, Northwest everywhere. I mean, every year I had to deal with at least like a 4-page letter of how you gonna do us like this, why is it over there, not here, why is it Maftown Heights, but it's in Joburg,
Like you misappropriating.
Yeah, and I guess what people didn't understand, we all live here, man. To take everybody to Mafikeng, it cost a lot of money, you know what I mean? And we just were waiting for the right time to do it, right partnership, big up to the Northwest government.
I think it's important to also address something else. I think that one thing which never gets an opportunity, and I like the fact that now we're on a blog which is about the culture. So the heads, the people who are about the culture are actually going to listen to this interview. So I think it's worth the time to address some of the strategic imperatives of the festival as well. When you consider kind of what it is we were trying to do, I think that it's never been a misappropriation of a name. The fact is that Motswako started in Mahikeng. The fact is, though, that Motswako, the vision for it to grow, for guys' names to be on bottles, right? For guys to fill up stadiums, we were never gonna do that if we were all about focusing and trying to bring attention to the place.
Yeah.
What our focus always was about was to focus the attention on what has come out of the place.
Yeah.
So for me and for Khuli, one of the things that was always clear is that a Maftown Heights needed to be a property that sold Motswako to the world.
Yeah.
So in many instances, and for all intent and purposes, it's exactly one of the reasons why we had to be outside of Johannesburg so we could spread the Bible. Yeah. So why Johannesburg? Johannesburg, if you think about it, and why that time of the year, and why the people that we focused on? We focused on an 18 to 24 audience that was university going. We were in a hub where we knew Pretoria was close, we knew Johannesburg. We were always within 1 square kilometer radius of a university campus. The reason for that is that you do that at the time of the year that we did it at, and then you've got kids there from Cape Town, Johannesburg, Swartkopmund, Walvis Bay, from Accra, Ghana, and wherever else, and they come out of there and they go, yo, there's this movement that's happening in South African hip-hop that you guys need to be put onto. So it was always very important for us to always be outward facing. That's a very important point to then remember. Another thing that Khuli and I were always clear about is we were never going to take a half-ass Maftown Heights back home.
Yeah.
So for us to do it, we knew that we needed to either put a show that was as good or better on. And to Khuli's point, when you start to run the numbers, first of all, you double the investment that we have to put in Johannesburg based on transportation and logistics costs. Because to Khuli's point, as much as it's a romanticized notion that everybody keeps a house, go live bigger, the truth is that's hotel rooms, that's transport, that's accommodation, that's fans that have now grown to love the movement outside of Mafikeng who have to drive in and find holiday and bed space. All of these things are a really big technical animal that we needed a partner which could orientate an entire city to the welcoming back of a festival like this. Mahikeng is great like that because that's 10 days where the city goes, let us now face outwards and let us invite the rest of the world here. So in terms of Maftown Heights, that's why it made sense, that partnership. But are we ever not going to take this brand out? The truth is, this brand needs to live not just in Mafikeng, but we need to be able to see a Maftown Heights being done in Cape Town. We need to be able to see one in Durban. We need to be able to see one in Namibia. We need to be able to see one in Accra, in Lagos, because the fact is, we are spreading a gospel. That's how passionate we are about South African Motswako specifically, and as well as South African hip hop at large. Because if you ask me, to be honest with you, I think we're making better music than most people in the world right now, at least in this genre.
Damn right.
Yeah. Are you from Mafikeng or are you like a Zulu guy?
my mom is Zulu. My mom is Zulu. So Zulu.
Yeah, you know, because, I don't know, your surname doesn't say that. That's like, because I'm always like, you know, when I'm Mafikeng, you know.
No, Shem, I'm a mixture.
But back to Motswako. I'm Kulani.
Ukulani. What's your second name?
Ngube Sizwe.
Ngube Sizwe.
Stays between
Blanket of the nation.
Yeah.
He's the blanket of the nation.
So why you laughing?
You know what's interesting, and I mean I'm gonna raise it because it's and I stand to be corrected. But if I'm wrong, feel free to tell me in the comments. I might reply, might not. But the truth of the matter is that, like, if you think about it, there's within like what you guys are doing, Mafikeng, or the Mafikeng bunch of artists, out of everybody outside that, as a unit, you guys have been able to almost convert music to properties beyond music, more than any other Joburg, Soweto, East Rand rap outfit. When I think about it, like when I think about what you're doing with Absolute, when I think about what Casper did with F&B, when I think about what WHP did with the shirts, you know, and what he did with the merch.
He was the pioneer with the brand.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Remember the Miller deal back in like 2009?
Exactly. You know what I mean? When I look at that, like, I mean, what was that? Stimroll, you know, Miller, the works, you know what I mean? I look at, like, I mean, even Duke's a guy who doesn't have much of a like a personality per se, you know.
Was the first one to go gold, actually.
Superstar.
First one to scoop a summer rap.
I mean, like downloads that song with numbers like 5,000, 300,000, that 60. I mean,
that one.
You know, I'll let Jacob say it. You know what I mean? I mean, if when you guys think about it, when you guys think about it, there is almost, I always say that, like, you know, outside hunger is the one that you gotta watch.
Yeah.
Because outside hunger literally is always works harder than guys who are inside and are saying are hungry. And I think that the Joburg hip hop guys inside, they say they're hungry, but they get caught up. But there's something about, like, the guys from Mafikeng, where, especially when you work together. When you're working in your own corners, but when you guys come together,
we're better together.
You get brand buy-in, you get like fan buy-in, you create things that, like, guys in Joburg like do half-heartedly. I mean, I'll be real with you. You know, Scotta Camp was the first group to have a shoe. But you know, because Scotta Camp was the only group in Joburg, we never had almost like a sort of partnership with the shoe another brand like Kappa, right? But we never had and we also had merch also before Jabba, you know what I mean? But because we never had a circle of, like, you like saying, you know, you're excited about the kids. You know, with us, everybody's so far and guys don't want to work together.
You didn't have enough dudes within the movement bigging you up for your music.
And even if they were, they never ever thought that let's come together. You know, I can find out. I know that, like, by default, we all know y'all might have, sometimes you'll have your differences with Casper or whatever, but you find a way to kind of go, but you know, we see eye to eye here. And that's what makes you guys powerful. You know what I mean? So that's what I was saying to Refiloe last week when we met 2 weeks ago. I said, you know, I know you're not doing it in Joburg, but this is a brand. You know, it's a brand that literally, like, you know, let's talk about it, even if it's not in Joburg. You know, so I'm really interested to kind of come back to Joburg, bring back the Joburg leg, take it to Durban, take it to Cape Town.
Oh, jeez, I can't wait for that.
And grow it, because no matter what brand sponsored things, challenges that you have, the point is that, like, you guys, I'm telling you guys from the outside, you guys create properties, and you guys have proven that, like, yes, the music's so powerful that it'll get so many people to come to an event. Yes, the music is so powerful that it'll make people buy the merch. The music is so powerful. You guys, it's all the Maftown Heights guys that have case studies that show how, like, the conversion happens beyond music.
You know what it is here? It's this. You know, there's a Kevin Costner movie called The Field, which I think really impacted anything I do now. This guy had this vision, like, he's a farmer, and, like, this voice was in his head saying, if you build it, they will come. And this guy, no one could understand, guy went and built a whole damn baseball field. And yeah, at the end of the movie, they came. So what was interesting for me, I think, especially about this year, 8 years later, is that at a point, we also got a bit beholden to these brands that were now supporting this thing. We can't move it, because if we move it, then what? And this year, we almost kind of were like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, those brands, they come, they don't, they don't. But I remember Khuli saying to me at one stage, buddy, it starts with us saying, there's going to be a Maftown Heights this year. Because it got to that place. People need to understand that when we made this choice, brands were no time was moving it to Mafikeng. They were just like, yo, let us know when you come back to Joburg. And I remember saying to Khuli, geez, dude, this is a multi-million rand hole we're staring at here. I said, buddy, don't worry about that. The fact is, we just have to decide in our minds that this thing is going to happen.
That it's done.
And that's the reality of the matter. And tying it back to your first observation, that's the thing about when you pack a bag, right? And you move to somewhere where no one knows you, right? And I don't know, anybody who's lived outside of where they called home, there's that moment when you land on the street and you go, damn, okay, now what, right? And you live on the outside and you observe in. And that's the gift and the curse. So people who come, whether it's from Mpumalanga or from Mahikeng or from Kimberley, you will then find ways to then find fellowship with people who then have a commonality with you. And that's been our greatest kind of gift then, really, because, right, you come here, you're on the outside, ain't nobody got time to give you a chance at that point in time. So then what you start to do, you start to build collaboratively. And fortunately, that has translated from the days when guys were sharing studio time to times now where there can be WhatsApp groups going on, and it can be something as along the lines of, yo, man, one of our owners passed away. How do we come together and put this? How do we come together and give this guy dignity as he's passing, as he makes that transition to something along the lines of, yo, guys, you know, we've got this vision, because that's exactly how it happened in 2010. We didn't have 2 cents. We didn't have 2 cents to rub together. It literally was, guys, we know we want to do this festival. You picked up calls to guys like you going, yo, Slick, we don't know how we're going to pay you, but we know that we're going to do this.
But we want to break bread.
Yeah, we want to break bread.
And our goal was to break bread with everybody.
Exactly.
We didn't want anybody calling us the following week going, yo, where's my bread, you know?
Yes.
It's probably,
There's your bread.
next Maftown.
That's your bread.
Hello?
Businessman, people,
Okay, thank you.
never stops.
Sorry, I'm just in the middle of an interview, bro. Can you text me? Oh, it's couple. It's couple. Okay.
Couple.
Okay, couple. Stop being fucking late, motherfucker. He's coming up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but you know, to his point, is one of the things we had to take into consideration was fill up F&B.
Yeah.
Then we knew this is huge for Homie.
And for the culture.
And this is huge for the culture. And we're going to have a broken vibe, you know. We host Maftown Heights in November. Fill up F&B's on the 2nd.
A week later.
It was just too close.
It was just like we're going to cannibalize each other. And the truth is, like, I remember with Khuli, we took a view. We were just like, no, man, we can't have anything jeopardize something that big. You know what I mean? So the view we took is, it's either it's not going to happen at all, or we're going to do this thing at home. And we decided this very early in the year, the moment we knew that fill-up was happening. It's just that, obviously, another thing about us is we're not big on talking about things until they happen. So you could see all this pressure, guys, it's Maftown Heights happening, but we couldn't talk about it until we knew what was going on, because we don't like talking for the sake of talking, you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
Broadcast live